Hey, this is Ben Solomon, and welcome to this episode of the Techno Leadership Show. In this episode, we will discuss things around what to do if you're not getting paid what you're worth. I keep seeing in a lot of forums, in a lot of Reddit subs, and in Facebook groups for technology professionals and engineering professionals, starting out at very low rates in an industry that takes a fair bit of skill, problem solving, and the ability to deal with customers. So for us to be underpaid is not a good thing. It doesn't give us any motivation to continue to grow because we feel like no matter what we do, we're not getting paid what we're worth. So we've got to work on finding out what a fair pay is for that particular role that you're in the state or county or district you're in, and figure out if you're getting paid appropriately. In a lot of roles, unless it's a government organization, you have leeway to negotiate your pay when you're applying for the role and when you're given the role. And I would say don't waste that opportunity. You have to negotiate what you're worth, or unless you're desperate for a job and you just want to get some experience, yes, the first job you might take at a lower rate, and then 6 months to a year later either try to negotiate to a higher rate. But if they're not willing to negotiate for a higher rate and you're still stuck in that role, it's time to look for a company that values your skill, values the experience that you've gained, and move on. At the end of the day, it's your life, it's your career, and we have one life to live. So we want to make the most of it. If we are putting the time in and the effort in to learn all these technologies, to deal with all the rubbish that we've got to deal with in especially frontline work, and if you don't get paid what we're worth, it's just not worth it. Obviously today, in today's day, in 2021, you might have the opportunity for remote work, probably some hybrid, but if you have a commute, you're spending hours in the commute, you're not getting paid enough, and you're not seeing any growth prospects. So if that is the case, then you need to look at reviewing it. So first thing I'll do is I'll do my research to find out what that particular position, let's say you're a level 1 help desk person. What is a level 1 help desk person in a company of your size? Let's say you've got 500 users that you're supporting. What is the appropriate pay for your area in that role? If you're in a senior role, look at that. There's a lot of information online around this, and there are people on Reddits and in Facebook groups and other forums who are happy to share what is appropriate for each level of work and in each state, each country, and those sort of things. So utilize that as your base, and then go and speak to HR, because most of the times your manager would not be able to do too much about your pay as such. So you're best going and speaking to HR who manage all that, or someone higher up in the organization that is managing people's pays. Find out who it is, go and speak to them and say, look, I've been here for X number of years or months, whatever it might be, and I believe that the market value for this role is, let's say, $25 an hour, and at the moment I'm getting paid $18 an hour. Can we bridge the gap, please? And you have to go and take initiative, and you have to do this because it is your life and it's your thing. Early on in my career, in one of the contracting roles that I worked, I heard that the contracting role was meant to be at a much higher rate. And I went and spoke to the owner of the contracting business saying, hey, you're underpaying me. And he said, no, look, here's the contract. Showed me the contract, and I was like, okay, fair enough. You're getting a small margin. Completely understand that because you're providing us with the opportunity and the ability to work in these other sites that you've contracted for. And that was fantastic. I've never been the kind of person who just sits back and takes it as it is. I might take it for a short period of time, but once I realized that the value that I'm bringing to an organization is not being compensated, I have a tendency to go, hey, what's going on? This is the right rate for this job in this economy. Why are you paying me at this rate? Can we find a happy medium? And then negotiate, and a lot of people are happy to negotiate so that we can find a happy medium for everyone to work with. And if it is an organization that is not willing to negotiate and not willing to support you in that because of the value that you're bringing to the organization, well, it's time to find someone else that actually values you and go for that. So yeah, start with that. Find out what your role's meant to as value is. Speak to the appropriate person. If it's an organization that has a HR person, it'll be the HR person. If it's not, sometimes it's the manager, or it'd be the managing director of the business. Whoever it is, find the right person who deals with your salary and your compensation. Speak to them about what you found about the value of the role and what you're being compensated, and tell them that you would like to discuss that and find a happy medium that works for both of you, and then go ahead and negotiate based on what you know and what you are worth. If none of that works because they're too stubborn and they want to just get cheap labor and don't want to compensate you for the skills that you have and for the knowledge that you have, the experience that you have, then it's time to move on to someone who actually values you as a person, values your skills and your experience. So I wish you all the best in your journey as a tech professional, manager, and leader. Hopefully this helped you out. And if you like the video, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button so that you're notified of future episodes as they come out. Have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you in a future episode. See you soon.